I didn't get much sleep, so if I start falling asleep, just somebody nudge me. I won't talk long because I know everyone is cold. I hope I do you justice. Okay, Mark, I guess I've known Mark longer and better than anyone. Mark was a very religious man. He prayed every day. He had a prayer book when he was bar mitzvahed in a dresser drawer. His binding was broken. Some pages were loose and crumbled. In between the pages he had cards and notes that people had sent him, had given him. He read a small Bible that I had received for confirmation. It was worn from use, and also the Jewish catalog with the broken binding. He loved to read about religion, and one year in college he studied the Old Testament one semester and the New Testament the next semester. He was interested in religion and he was proud to be of the Jewish faith. He enjoyed attending services or calling into care services at Bethel at our synagogue for over 60 years, and he always liked seeing you, Rabbi London, and he liked learning from you. I believe he led his life following the Ten Commandments. I knew Mark was loved, but I didn't realize until this past week, after getting calls, texts, and all of you here, just how much he really was loved. If you ask me how to describe Mark, I would say love. He loved his friends and neighbors. Who were family to him, those living and those who passed on. He had a special place in his heart for Dr. Campbell. Dr. Campbell had been Mark's doctor since 1974. And for almost 20 years, he kept Mark going since Mark's bypasses. Mark was always amazed at how kind people were to him. He didn't realize that that's how he treated everyone. Most of all, Mark loved his family. Our dad, Jerry, and our mom, Roz. He loved them dearly. He was a devoted son. And in their last days, Mark took wonderful care of them. I act like, I'm with some TV show, someone waving at everyone. Anyways, he loved his older brother, Barry, who taught Mark the names of all the cars we would see on the road coming from Gilman up to Chicago and back. And when Mark recognized him, he'd call out, the name of what the car was. Whenever Mark was sick, his big brother Barry was at his side. His sister Beth, who had the same sense of humor as Mark did, I didn't get what they were like. To me, it wasn't funny. They would roar with laughter. Beth from Little On was ready to help and protect Mark in any way she could. Mark loved his sister-in-law Lisa and his brother-in-law Dan. Sorry, I lost my place. Okay, Mark. This I don't have to look down at. Mark loved and adored, and was so proud of his three nephews, Joel, Ross, and Ryan, and his niece, Karen. He also loved Joel's wife, Colleen, his niece, and Karen's future husband, Brandon, his nephew. He would do anything for the 4 or 6 of you, and he knew you would do anything for him also. And I know you guys loved him dearly. He loved his great niece, Eve Victoria, and his great nephew, Owen David. And he loves seeing pictures and videos of Eve and Owen. And Mark loved his twin. And I loved him dearly. More than words can ever say. Mark, you'll always have this feeling. So I want to thank you all for coming. It really, really helps.
As we have heard, and as everybody who knew Mark knows, he was just the kindest person that you could ever know. That smile in the picture really sums up Mark in so many ways, exactly how I remember him. When he and Susan would come for services, Mark always had that wonderful smile on his face and always would come over to say hello, and it was always wonderful to see him. And he and Susan would sit in the same section together with, as Susan said, all the old timers at Beth Emmet, because they had been there for so many years. That Mark and Susan were the first boy-girl twin b'nai mitzvah at Beth Emmet many, many years ago. If anybody needed help, Mark would be there. Professionally, he worked as a social worker for the Red Cross and had his own business working with seniors, and he took care of both of his parents when they became ill and as they died. He loved to make cookies at holiday time and distribute them to everyone, the bus driver, the mailman, the neighbors. He was close with the whole neighborhood and good at keeping in touch with people and sending cards. When my husband asked me who died, I said, Mark Blumenfeld, and he looked and he said, I'm not sure I met him at Beth Emmet. And I said, well, I think that you know him by all of the cards that we received for every holiday. And he nodded his head and remembered for the 22 years that I've been at Beth Emmet that Susan and Mark always sent cards for all of the holidays. So thoughtful. I loved those cards. He loved to cook and bake. He used to make honey cakes for Rosh Hashanah and send them around the country to people. And he had special dishes he made for all of the holidays. Pumpkin pie, and I heard he makes the best mashed potatoes. He also made great latkes, kugel, and brisket. But even though we've heard he loved his Judaism and was a religious person, there are some who question whether or not he was really Jewish because he didn't like bagels and lox or deli food. It's hard. Close on.
Or olives.
Or olives, right? He loved the 4th of July and would pack snacks and bring long chairs for the fireworks. Mark also enjoyed musicals. He was a good dancer and had a nice voice, but he never wanted to sing in public or perform. And if I'd known about his nice voice, I might have made him sing in the choir, but that never happened. Mark had a contagious laugh. You could hear his laugh around the neighborhood when his nieces and nephews came over because he loved being with them. And he had a gift for making people laugh, except not his twin sister Susan, who didn't understand his sense of humor. Kids loved him. He was a real kid magnet. Mark was a real people person. No one was a stranger with Mark. He lived a positive, happy life. Despite his health issues, he never complained. He was born in Gilman, Illinois, had a twin sister, Susan, two older siblings, Barry and Beth, moved to Evanston when he was 5, and lived in the same house ever since. During his childhood, he was in the Cub Scouts, and also he insisted on sitting in the front seat of the car on family outings because he claimed he got carsick. He would sit between his parents, turn around, and wink at his other 3 siblings in the back of the car because he just really liked sitting there. He graduated from Evanston Township High School, then went to Kendall College for 2 years and completed a degree in sociology at Northeastern. He loved life and loved people, and everybody loved him. In Pirkei Avot, a book written 2,000 years ago, translated into English as Sayings of the Sages, Rabbi Shimon taught that there are 3 crowns: the crown of Torah, the crown of priesthood, and the crown of royalty. However, the crown of a good name is greater than them all. What Rabbi Shimon meant by this teaching is that there are some people who are learned, some people who have religious leadership, and other people who have a lot of money and power. Mark was somebody who had the gift of Torah, of Jewish learning, but most importantly, what he had was the crown of a Shem Tov, a good name. And a good name is greater than them all. All of us who knew and loved Mark know that he had a wonderful name. May we keep his name alive as we live according to the legacy that he has set for us, a legacy of kindness and of love and of caring. And in this way, his name will remain alive. Zichrono livracha. Mark's life was surely a blessing. May his memory continue to bless us. And we are now going to rise together for the memorial prayer.
Thank you. No, that's enough. That's enough.
El Merei Rachamim, Shochen Ba'amromim, Hamsei Menucha Nechona Tachat Kanfei Shechina, Im Kedoshim Etorim Kezohar Akim Masirim Et Nishmat Meir Ben Yaakov Rachel Shalach La'olmo Ba'al Rachamim Yasirenu B'Sefer Pinchas Ba'olamim B'Sefer Chayimet Nishmat Adonai Yeruach B'Shalom Ha'Mishkavo V'Nomar Amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to Mark Blumenfeld, the son of Jerry and Rosalind, who has entered eternity. The God of mercy, let him find refuge in your eternal presence, and let his soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is his inheritance. May he rest in peace. And let us say, Amen. Hatzor tamim po'olom, kichot racham mishpat, el amunah ve'enav tzidik ve'isharhu. Hatzor tamim b'chol po'al, mi omar lo ma tifal, ashalit b'mat v'ma'al me'mitu b'chaim, avrid sha'ol ve'ya'al. God is sure, our immovable rock. All God's work is upright. Who can say, what is it that you do? The Eternal governs what is above and what is below, overseeing both the valleys of death and the heights of life. God is sure, our immovable rock. Who can say to God, what will you do? You are righteous in your dealings in both death and life, and every soul is in your trust. Adonai natan v'Adonai lakach, v'hi shem Adonai l'orach. God gave us the life of Mark Blumenfeld. God has taken him away. Blessed be the name of God. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher yitzar etchem b'tzalmo, v'zam v'chelkel etchem b'tuvo, v'emit etchem b'din, v'netah b'tochechem chayei olam. Baruch atah Adonai dayan ha'emet. We praise you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who forms us in the divine image, who nourishes and sustains us in your goodness, who causes all of us to die, and who implants immortal life within us. We bless you, O God, judge of truth. Eternal is your might, O God. All life is your gift. Great is your power to save. With love you sustain the living, and with great compassion you give life to all. You send help to the falling and healing to the sick. You bring freedom to the captive, and keep faith with those who sleep in the dust. Baruch atah Adonai noteh b'tochenu chayei olam. We praise you, O God, who implants eternal life within us. You may be seated as we lower the casket.
I'm sorry. For the people that joined us online, there's been some connective issues, the signal going in and out. We have recorded the service as well, and we will upload it later this afternoon.
Jewish tradition teaches us that it's a mitzvah, a sacred obligation to give our loved ones a proper burial. And we show our participation in that by putting some of the earth onto the casket. We learn that we came from the dust, and to the dust we shall return. And so we do this as a gesture of helping one return naturally to the earth, and one's soul then becomes elevated to God and to heaven. We have some earth here from the Mount of Olives, from the land of Israel. We'll ask the immediate family to put some of this earth onto the casket, and then we'll put the vault cover on top of the casket, and everyone here will have an opportunity to put some of the earth onto the grave. There are several traditions on how to do this. I will explain one so that you will have a tradition that you can use. If you have another tradition, please feel free to do that which you are most comfortable with. The tradition is to put 3 shovelfuls of earth onto the grave. 3 represents that we're doing something with intention. It is customary to turn the shovel upside down for the first shovelful. It will be very difficult to get any earth onto it. That is okay. This is just symbolic. The reason we turn the shovel upside down is because although we need to say goodbye to Mark, we do so with reluctance, and so we turn the shovel upside down, which makes it difficult to put the earth onto the casket. For the other 2 shovelfuls, you can turn the shovel back the other way and put the earth onto the casket. Once you complete taking your shovelfuls, you don't hand the shovel to the next person in line. And the reason for that is that it's as if our 3 shovelfuls, we have completed filling the grave. And so we don't hand it to the next person. We allow each person to do the 3 shovelfuls as if they're filling the grave completely themselves. So once you finish your 3 shovelfuls, you can just put it back into the earth. If it falls over, don't worry, we'll help you, the next person, to pick it up. And if you have a bag or anything, happy to help you with that as well. And then once we've had that opportunity, we'll come back together for our final prayer, which is the mourner's Kaddish.
Folks, if you'll just carefully come along the side here, don't get too close to the grave. On top of the casket.
talking about